Welcome committee members, staff and members of the public. Please ensure that your devices and cell phones are turned either to silent or turned off while the meeting is in progress. If a cell phone interrupts the course of this meeting, we will stop and wait for the device to be muted. This meeting is being held in the Supper Room Waipinger Centre, Martinborough Town Hall. It is being live streamed and will be available to view on Council's YouTube channel. The emergency exits for this room are the door you came in. Please keep that nice and free, and the exit behind me. If we do need to evacuate the building, please use one of these exits and assemble outside by the playground. Please remain at the assembly area until the building has been confirmed clear. In the event we experience any unruly or intimidating behaviour during the course of this meeting, we will adjourn until it is safe for us to reconvene. Members of council and the staff will congregate in the area behind me if this action is necessary. I invite you all to stand and join me in the opening podium. I'm going to answer my Here, what are the Silvina? Here, we have apologies this morning from Mayor Connolly, Councillor Maynard, Councillor McCauley and Councillor Elams. Do I have a councillor please to accept the apologies from the above? Thank you, Councillor Bosley and Councillor Bray, seconder. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. All those against, no. The motion is carried. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare this morning?
Yeah, on the bylaw.
On the bylaw, thank you, Councillor Plummer. Are there any acknowledgements and tributes this morning, please? Thank you, Councillor Olds.
Yeah, just one tribute to Bob Walton, who recently passed away. Very keen motorsport enthusiast and instrumental in getting the Motorplex set up and mastered, and so great loss.
Also with his family and all those that
Absolutely.
Any other tributes or acknowledgements this morning? That being the case, we will move on to public participation. Presenters will have 5 minutes to speak to the council, including question time. When the presenters get to 4 minutes, Amy will raise your hand to let you know that you have a minute remaining. At 5 minutes, I will let you know that your speaking time has come to an end. And just a reminder that even when passions run high, there are a few rules that we all must adhere to, particularly those around either being repetitious, disrespectful or offensive. So we'll start the morning with Gary. So please come and join us at the table. Gary is speaking on the 2023
time. It's by legal obligation, it's by respect for the councillors. By law, are you going to give them the rights to answer one question first because it's to do with my speech?
No, Gary, I just said that you get 4 to 5 minutes to speak, and then I'll be able to give you any remaining time for the councillors to ask you questions of clarification.
Yeah, Joyce, you say we start.
Yeah.
The Auditor General's Office stated our work is designed to give independent assurance that public entities are operating and accounting for their performance in keeping with Parliament's intentions. They said Council's review, our Council had an adverse review opinion on the long-term plan, being little public participation in Council decision making, information found to be not reasonable, funding capital projects by increasing debt, borrowing at amounts that will not be able to support. Yet, this auditor clearly stated did not identify any financial discrepancies that match the size and scales of those that you outlined in your original correspondence. The Auditor General's Office correspondence has printing, improving trust, promoting value printed on it. They say they exercise professional judgment and maintain professional scepticism throughout the audit. But misstatements. We are to report the fact, not the other information we do see. The Auditor General's Office has just proved it themselves. Professional scepticism goes straight out the door when conducting an audit, declaring their only honest intention, keeping with Parliament's intentions, being trust for only the Parliament, not the ratepayer, value to be kept a hidden secret, but leaving a hidden clue for the ratepayers. Events or conditions may cause the District Council to cease to continue as a going concern, may be more likely to take the attention away from them who cannot or will not tell us who the promoting value is for. Maybe all councils are involved. The new CEO that's crisp, has accurate information and sensible options, states 120 new rating units, totaling 7,404 paying, with 409 extra non-paying, but has 2,957 rating unit charges missing, with 2.8 million from this 23-24 audit. On top of this 25.7 million income was a 10% of turnover refunded back to the ratepayer due to overcharging, but doesn't show up in this audit, taking the income back up to 28.5 million, less the missing 2.8 is now back at their 25.7. In July 2024, the Auditor General's Office sent a letter to me. I will share this option that we should all support it together as ratepayers. It said you could consider either the police or the Serious Fraud Office, which investigates allegations of serious or complex financial crime, including bribery and corruption. When the rates were already in the mail, the CEO letter, August 2023, showed UAGC and general income at 14.057 million. Take off the audit amount, 395,000 is missing from this audit. That's being 246 rating units, bringing in 1.3 to 1.9 million dollars is missing from this audit game of deception. Winners and losers being played for years. Take 7,404 rating units. Fact, they only had to pay $3,997 each to get less the GST to get their 25.7 million. The smallest house in Featherston pays South Ryman District Council amount only $4,224. Who collects the 227 left over? If you pay $6,000, who's collecting your 2,000 left over? If you are paying $12,000, who collects your 8,000 left over? And if you don't pay it, interest is added. This money is not accounted for in any government audit game of deception. The real big question, why did the government look at it in this way too? It's so simple for them to do when it's so simple for you to see now. This is how our real money goes missing. Everybody giving their independent assurance, keeping with Parliament's intentions, grabbing as much money as they can, keeping the poison going into the water and keeping the people power over the people. Out of all our groups trying to expose this deception around New Zealand, this council became the easiest one. They also had a one-off chance to end the poisoning of our waters. Ignoring public information as they do, they stuck with Parliament's intentions too. Our directions are to take back our towns, being towns of their own directions by only their own people living in that town's district. That's our future. It's getting so close for us to do.
Thank you.
Want any questions, mate?
Sorry, there's no time for questions.
Well, I have got one. You did apologise to the people.
Jim, yes, thank you.
If you don't want to hear the truth, that's the trouble with you, folks.
You also have 5 minutes and Andy will give you a wave at 4.
One more comment like that. Go on. Okay. Sorry. One more comment like that. I'm out of here.
Okay.
One more comment like that, I'm walking out.
Bloody walk out. Sorry?
Bit of order would be use that you're pointing to the form. If something gets out.
Jim, when you're ready, as I said, you've got 5 minutes and then we'll give you a wave at 4 when you're ready.
Distribution of rates have been a debacle, especially since the rate review by this council. Council put out for consultation their long-term plan. One topic, distribution of rates. Question 1, option 1 was council's preferred option. Increase UAGC 28%. Council said page 3 of consultation document, have your say. Encourage. Council said, page 3, consultation document, have your say. We encourage you to do this in a way that suits you best. 600 rural ratepayers filled out a pre-written submission because that was the best way that suited them. CEO and staff discussion report received 184 responses to question 1. That was a lie, as all 600 except 1 responded to question 1, option 1. So the number should have been 783, not 184. Then the report went on to say, due to the nature of the form letters, it is unclear if those submitting have read the consultation document or supporting information to comprehend all aspects being asked of your community. That's a red flag, basically saying the 600 do not know what they are saying and don't take any notes of them. I asked the question, is anything incorrect in the 600 submissions? The answer to question 7 in the reply, no, nothing is incorrect in the 600 submissions. The CEO and staff should not have made such a statement unless there is something wrong that needs correcting. This shows council's contempt to consultation process and not acting in good faith. Decision report, CEO and staff, the 600 form letters support question 1, option 1. They are to be considered by councillors alongside the submissions received. At the meeting, Charlie, member of council staff, stated of question 1, the feedback was so even. Councillor Elms stated, question 1, as there were less than 200 submissions, evenly split either way, 92 for, 92 against, no way enough feedback to change our position from where we are now. Both Charlie and Elms ignored the 600 rural submissions, which, if counted, would have been overwhelming in favour of the question 1, option 1. 692 for, 92 against. No councillor said that what Charlie and Elms said was wrong. All through this, the CE just sat there and said nothing to correct the statement made by Charlie and Elms, knowing they were incorrect. Council said, creating a long-term plan is a team effort and we need your input, which is where effective consultation comes in. By excluding 600 rural submitters, it's obvious that rural is not part of the team and their input not valued. The true position now is, at the rates review, councillors passed a motion that set UAGCs between 21 and 26%. Council staff have used the lower figure of 28. So That means question 1, option 1 is increasing UAGCs up from 26 to 28, and option 2 is lowering from 26 to 21. After 10 workshops, Council's preferred option was question 1, option 1. Meeting 14th of May, most councillors changed their vote to option 2. The only new information that changed their position was the statement of Charlie and Ellen's.
1 minute.
Did not get enough feedback to change to 28%, which were based on lies. This is a breach of consultation principles. LGA 2002, section 78, 82, 83. Councillors must take into account the view of affected person, must demonstrate that it considered the community input. Councillors ignored 600 rural submitters, so failed this. Charlie's chart only shows the number that will be better off or worse off. It has nothing to do with section 101, the distribution of benefits for what one gets from their rates they pay. One thing councillors don't seem to understand is the higher the UAGC percentage, the fairer the distribution of the rate burden is between the 3 towns and between urban and rural. I and the 600 rural submitters want their submissions counted, which in doing so gives overwhelming support to increase UAGC to 28%. So if you have any conscience, reverse your decision of the 14th of May meeting and democracy will be the winner. And just remember, I'm talking for 600.
Remember that the agenda of the 14th of May clearly stated that there were 600 formed letters
Anyway, look,
did support option 1. That information was all given to us. Thank you, Jim.
just because you received that from the CEO, you didn't demonstrate at the meeting, you'd taken that into consideration.
Thank you, Jim. The next speaker is Dougal Shelton. Is Dougal with us this morning?
Yeah.
So take a seat. As per our first 2 speakers, you have 5 minutes and Amy will give you a wave at 4.
Morning all. Very got off to an interesting start, hasn't it? I just speak to the brief email I previously, partially segues from what Jim was chatting about, which is fundamentally the decision to what seems to me to be the decision to ignore the 600 submissions that were referred to form letters. It all clearly stated support for option 1 under question 1 in the consultation document. As you state correctly, yep, 14th of May deliberation report states that they are to be considered by councillors alongside submissions received. However, that seems that they actually really weren't in subsequent discussions. When it was talked about that the submission support for option 1 was being evenly split, which it quite clearly wasn't. But it seems that part of the reason for not considering them is the view that it is, and I quote, unclear if those that signed the form are aware or have read the full consultation document. This was stated by South Wye Council in a written response made to Jim Headley on the 13th of May, which he shared with me because I'm one of those 600 people. So I'm a little bit surprised about that because I'm just wondering what basis does council or councillors determine whether people have read the full consultation document or not? It's an enormous assumption to go and make, assuming that people are ignorant and yet they're willing to sign a document about something of which they have no knowledge. So that's one issue. But secondly, what the hell does that matter? It isn't how democracy works. It's one of the issues, one of the principal tenets of democracy, and it's a weakness, is that everybody can have their say. It doesn't matter if they know anything about what they're talking about. They don't have to know anything about it. They can be ignorant, but it doesn't stop them from voting. Elected members, appointed officials don't have a right to discount votes and submissions on the basis of assumed knowledge held by the voter or submitter. You know, you can discount them if they're not made by eligible people, if they're not on the correct format, if they're not within set deadlines, but there's no requirement in making a submission in this consultation or any other that says you must have fully read and understood the document, or you cannot sign a submission written on your behalf. As Jim said, it said, hey, look, please submit in a way that suits you. That suited me because I'm bloody busy and Jim's done the legwork for us and I was appreciative of that. So, and this holds local elections, national elections, you don't have to demonstrate that knowledge. So it just really seems that councils haven't taken into account these 600 submissions. You know, I'm one of those people. So I don't know why you've assumed that I don't know what I'm talking about, or that I don't have an opinion, or I didn't have a view, or I just signed a document because Jim came up and said, we sign this bit of paper. So I'm just certainly concerned about that. That don't discount my view. It wasn't evenly split. It was clearly not. Option one is important. I mean, don't even get me started on how rates are arrived at. It's just a simple thing. But for me, this is just all about, you don't get to discount my submission. That's not in your authority. That's not how democracy works. You know, at the moment, democracy is under open attack in pretty much every bloody corner of the world at the moment, isn't it? It's a shit show out there, a bloody dumpster fire. You know, we've got demagogues, we've got autocrats who are riding a wave of nationalism and populism to roll back freedom of speech, rule of law, democratic rights. How are they managing to do that? Because people have lost faith in democracy. People don't understand it. People have lost faith in the process. They've lost faith in their elected officials. Why am I bringing up the dumpster fire of international geopolitics? It's because this is where it lives and dies, and things like this. This is where it lives and dies. It's these small things where people get ignored, feel they're not counted, things get acrimonious. That's where faith in the system and faith in you as elected officials starts to erode. And that is the slippery slope to what we see happening in America, what we see happening in Hungary, what we see happening in all parts of the world. I don't want to see that happen. New Zealand's a world leader in this. So it's small, but it's really bloody important to just make sure you're heard and things are done correctly and people's views are respected and democracy is properly understood. It's really important. So I don't have any, no questions or anything like that. It's just a statement to this. I really would like you guys to just reconsider how you've come up with that judgment and just reconsider option one. It was a preferred option from council. It's our preferred option. It's a preferred option of submitters. I really think we need to go back and revisit that. So I'll implore you to just revisit that decision. Yeah, take your time.
Before you go, you didn't give time, so I just want to check with my councillors whether or not they
Want to? I mean, you still.
questions and clarifications for you.
I think you got a lot of stuff on, but
Thanks, Dougal, and I really hear what you're saying. And we're not arguing with you about democracy and the things that we face in today's environment. But one of the things that we are really important about is the fact that there are more than 600 people that live in our community, for instance, and they have to be considered alongside the 600 submissions. And I hope that you're going to go away today and feel that we've given justice to everybody in our district, not just.
yeah, I know it's on my place to sort of ask questions, but yeah, I mean, again, that becomes a more complicated issue about other things, but we don't have the time here, so just keep it.
Nice.
I mean, I understand, I know you guys are weighing things up, still of the view that I'm not sure we've got the correct view and balance yet for that decision making, but I'd certainly understand your point, yeah, for sure. It is more complicated than just that 600, as I said, I just ring-fenced it today. Yeah.
The other thing to be really painfully aware of is that consultation requires engagement and feedback, and we are grateful for all of the information that we received. The difficulty then comes and lays with us because consultation isn't a referendum. The information that comes back isn't binding.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's the difference between consultations and referenda. And so, yeah, like, an 18-year public service, central government in Wellington still, unfortunately, and so more than well aware of it, having been on the other side of the table with consultation, rates reviews and all sorts of things like that. So, yeah, it's a difficult goddamn thing, it really does. Hence why optics and the way things are phrased and worded and the way things are treated is what's really important.
so I thank everyone for their time this morning, whether you presented, thank you, Dougal, thank you, Jim and Gary, thank you for all of you who came and listened and supported.
Should remember
Jim, enough.
rural, and that's a large percentage of the rural area.
Any urgent business this morning, councillors? No urgent business. We are now going to the meeting minutes of the 18th of December, Strategy Working Committee meeting. Sorry, it's council. Council meeting minutes from the 18th of December. Are there any corrections that need making to these minutes, please? It was a long time ago. Do I have a mover, please, to confirm that the minutes of the council meeting from the 18th of December are a true and correct record, please? Thank you. Yes, thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. All those against, no. The motion is carried. Thank you.
Sorry. No, totally.
The next set of minutes that we are considering are the council minutes from the 20th of November 2024. Any corrections needed to these minutes, please? Amy and I have succeeded at our job, 2 in a row. Do I have a move of the minutes, please? Thank you, Councillor Old, and a second, please. Councillor Gray, thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. All those
Abstained because I wasn't there.
Councillor Plummer is abstaining. Any noes? Motion is carried.
We just pause for a couple of seconds while people leave.
Just. Are you able to wait until an adjournment? We can't take another presentation during the meeting. It'll be the end of the meeting to wait 45 minutes. Lovely, thank you. Matters arising, please. No matters arising. We now move on to item 9.1, report back and updates for the Multi Standing Committee and Community Boards. I'm not aware of anyone here to present today, which takes us to our decision reports and Chief Executive from the Chief Executive and staff. And the first one is our elections 2025 order of candidates on the voting form. Nikki, if you can join us, that would be amazing. Feel free to just join us at the end of these tables if you like. Up to you. First page paper is read, Nikki, but if you take us through any highlights, points, it would be amazing.
Yeah, through you, under legislation, there is an opportunity, should you wish, for council to determine the order of candidate names that go on the voting papers. It is hopefully pretty straightforward paper and makes sense. There's 3 options that we're here today with: alphabetical, random and pseudo-random. And the recommendation is for option 2, which is random, or sometimes known as fully random. That is our recommendation.
Can I propose that we adopt option 2?
It seems like a very, very straightforward situation.
Any objections?
Anyone wants a different way, I'm happy to take so on his moving of that motion and just carry on. And thank you. Right, Councillor Plummer has moved that. Councillor Gray has second. We will receive the elections 2025 order of candidates on voting forms report, and we do agree that in accordance with clause 31 of the local election electoral regulations 2001, that the method of ordering the names of the candidate voting papers will be fully random for the 2025 and 2028 triennial council elections and any subsequent by-elections. All those in favour, please say aye.
Right.
All those against, no. Motion is carried.
This is record for the quickest
Beautiful.
report.
Write all papers that way.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Hope you could get like fully random into every report. That would be great.
Stay with us, Vicky, because you're on the next topic as well. We're now moving to 10.2, the Wairarapa Consolidated Bylaw, which you will remember has already been to us for approval of the consultation document. And this paper is about some updates to section 9. Vicky, do you want to highlight any particular points of interest for us?
Through you, Chair, as mentioned, this is just following some legal advice that was received and only relates to one part of the bylaw, which is part 9, and only relates to section 14 within that part of the bylaw. It also includes a couple of updates from terminologies. So it's just coming back to you to let you know of those changes since legal advice has been received. Also noting a change in consultation dates because of and here today just to get your approval for just part 9 of the consolidated bylaw, so we can move ahead with consultation.
So just being really clear, we're not re-endorsing the entire document, it is just part 9. Any questions for Nikki on part 9 of the consolidated bylaw that is now in consultation? So there will be further opportunity for councillors to discuss this item as well.
Can I move 1, 2 and 3 of the recommendations?
Absolutely can move 1, 2 and 3 of the recommendations. Do I have a second? I think Councillor Gray. We are looking for approval, please, to receive the Wairarapa Consolidated Bylaw report, endorse the revised draft part 9, and note that consultation from part 1 to part 10 will take place 25 June to 25 July. And the part 11 is currently open and will close on 25 July. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, no. Councillor Plummer is abstaining and the motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. 10.3, this one, we will get. Item 10.3, the local government agreement report. So this one is a follow-on from last week's discussion about who will represent us at the local government AGM, and asks us now to look at the proposed remits, rank them in order of importance for our council, and then whether we are instructing Colin to vote yes, no, or abstain on those remits. So does anyone have any particular remit burning a hole in their pocket that they passionately feel should be remit number 1?
Can I just make a comment through you? Over the years, we've put up a number of remits, or we've endorsed, or we've assisted in promoting a number of remits before local government. It would appear that the weight of local government New Zealand on central government in terms of their remits is somewhat non-significant, if I might use that word. And remits that were put up last year, there are some huge for the action taken from central government, even though those remits have been presented to them, is very, very slow and forthcoming. And I often wonder the value of remits at local government and whether or not they actually carry the weight that they actually deserve from councils around New Zealand that do submit to this. So it's a little frustrating, I must admit.
And I hear your frustration. I raised a similar concern about reporting on the movement of previous year's remits with Janet's maybe a week or two ago, that the visibility of where those remits go, because of that linking as well. I know there was an update in the most recent LGNZ newsletter, but prior to that it's all fuzzy. So I do hear your frustration, but I think at this point, the best consolidated effort that we've got on any of these. So it would be good to have a position.
So the only one I want to talk about, alcohol licensing fees, I totally agree with it. It's just so long overdue, and we are losing money for every license that we get. So to me, that's the most important one there. The others, I really don't care. it's not going to make any significant difference to anyone, but that one does.
Are we happy for alcohol licensing fees to be, our number one?
Yeah, for me.
Then we would, vote in
Favour.
favour.
In favour of, yeah, lifting the fees.
That far enough.
Are there any others that we want to wait or that we particularly want to vote in one way or the other for or against?
Can I ask Janice if they elaborate on the improving joint management agreements? Or expand on it, or
This one has, come from what's it, Northern Regional Council.
This one seems to be particularly about councils and, even Māori working with together in environmental governance.
I started reading it, but
I have to say, I found it a bit confusing.
yeah,
Because
So did I, to be quite honest, and I was keen to hear feedback.
yeah, so, okay, so it sounds like it was confused as I am, but
I think so, and maybe this is particular to Northern region, given the review and who they have and treaty settlements that affect them. It didn't really relate to my understanding of our relationship.
that's fine, thank you.
Do we have a determination on whether or not we support, not support, or we just don't vote?
Very hard to support something that's that confusing, you don't really understand.
I wonder if we pop it down at 5 and we just abstain, because I think Freddie is right.
Yep.
It is hard to form an opinion if we're all a little confused. What do you think about remit number 5, the review of local government arrangements? This one speaks to the fact that there have been a number of reviews done, and again,
It feels,
move.
It's seriously going nowhere.
as I say, it feels like shouting and screaming in a padded room, to be honest.
Again, it's nothing.
Are we a yes, no, or abstain?
I would be a yes, but it's going, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yes. Okay, so that's a yes. Do we want to rank it anywhere particular?
Do you want to,
Rank it, do we want to take priority?
number 2 or number 3? 3 maybe?
You 2 or 3 here?
Yeah.
2 or 3, folks, 2 or 3. Show of hands, 2.
We filled 2 in yet?
No,
There you go.
put it in 2.
I can tell you.
4.
Bus. The bus service, I think we abstain because it doesn't affect us.
Buses abstain.
The-
Okay, they would abstaining for bus.
Our bus service for some,
Generally, it's all set, eh?
The last lot of remits, they're much more exciting.
was that?
Last lot of remits.
That was more exciting than that.
LG review,
Kind of think.
so we can do it with
I'm
security.
not going to go to all the MZ and this
So
kind
that
of
just leaves us with
reinforces my view of how people they are.
Security,
That's what I can
rent. Security system payments, again, this is a Butler North District Council, SCADS, Central Otago. Number 3 is what we've got left, so we're happy for it to go there, and are we for, against, or
in
abstain?
principle, I would say yes, because actually we've got much more front facing than central MPs. So government, whilst it might not affect us here in the Wairau, but it's only a matter of time till it does.
I'm sure that somewhere, I would recommend supporting that, to be quite honest, and rank it into 3.
Yeah, good note. So we know, so we've got, just to be clear, alcohol at priority 1, the local government review at item 2, security system payments 3,
Yeah.
bus, school bus links at 4, and improving the joint management arrangements at 5.
Yep.
Alcohol, yes. Review of LG, yes, we're in favour. Security systems, we're in favour. Bus and improving the JMA, we're abstaining.
Yeah.
So then a seconder for that. Sorry, a mover for that, please. Thank you, Councillor Plummer and Councillor Wardenlock is our seconder. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, no. The motion is carried. We are now going to move into public excluded. Do I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Gray. The reason for moving into public excluded is that we will be discussing 2 sets of public excluded minutes. And they relate both to the future direction of water services and relate to Lake Ferry, Holiday Park, lease structure, all those. Second, please. What, moving into public excluded? So Rosalie, all those in favour of moving into public excluded, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, no. Thank you. Motion is carried. We will just put up signs and close off the live stream before we carry on.